The Inquisitorius served as the kidnappers of the Empire, and while some came across as clumsy and incompetent, others were threatening to our heroes even with their limited screen time. So by taking a PL or power level for each character, let's group these warriors into the categories of weak to strong, like even the mysterious Inquisitor seen facing off against Ahsoka in the new show. But before I start, who do you think will be the Inquisitor with a 10 out of 10 score?
So predictable.
Starting with level 1, the only guy I have for this one is the 8th brother, who makes me very sad to put this low because in my opinion, he has probably the sickest design out of any of these guys with that helmet and stuff. But unfortunately in action, he gives off the energy of a complete buffoon that has no training whatsoever. I mean, bro flies in here like a helicopter and then gets defeated by 3 makeshift Jedi, gets defeated by a droid, and then tries to fly away with his spinny lightsaber and sells on that too. So all around a complete L. He was actually the same species as the Trellian Jango Jumper from the Clone Wars called Cassie Cryer, and his custom Inquisitor lightsaber hilt had a buzzsaw-like weapon that could be employed when the blades were turned off. So again, a guy that looks very cool but cannot really keep his own in battle. And as we move into the power level of 2, just know that I'm kind of winging this system, but more or less 1 means that they really are trash, they suck, and then as you move up, 5 is like really mid, not all that great, 10 is the best of the best, and kind of go from there. However, the only Inquisitor from this section is the Tales of the Jedi Inquisitor, who, surprise surprise, I'm not going to put that high due to how long he lasted against Ahsoka. Look, I get she's a skilled fighter and all, but Jedi are the Inquisitor's job, so you'd think at least some of them would be competent at killing them, but alas, that is not the case. He was one of an unknown humanoid species and was close to 6 feet tall with a unique mask. After arriving at the village where Ahsoka had been reported, this Inquisitor burned it down and killed everyone after she was nowhere to be found. Later, Ahsoka would return and turn off the Inquisitor's own lightsaber before using it to cut off his head in one swift motion. And Vader probably walked by his deflated head later and used it to polish his helmet. I mean, after all, that would be more efficient than the Inquisitors normally. I also think this guy looks pretty cool, but yeah, he really didn't have much of a purpose, which kind of feels like an homage to the Darth Maul death in Rebels, but I'm not really sure. For the rating of 3, all I have is the 4th sister from the Kenobi series, who is also of an unknown species and literally does nothing the whole show but walk around and look angry sometimes. Maybe if she saw more action I could put her higher, but for now this is the best I can do. And we actually do see what her mask looks like in the comics when Lina Graff impersonates her. But yeah, I just remember not really thinking anything of her in the show because she literally doesn't do anything. So this is one that will probably be expanded upon in the future just because Disney Star Wars is moving towards using the Inquisitorius so much in all of their projects, as we've already seen. But for now there really isn't much to work with here, so I had to put her lower. Moving into number 4, you have to understand that this isn't one universal power rating for all of Star Wars, it's all relative to the Inquisitors. So don't think if I say Inquisitor number 66 is a 10, that means they're beating Yoda anytime soon. With that out of the way, however, at level 4 I have Reva, or the 3rd sister, who at least did some stuff with her lightsaber, which puts her above the 4th sister at the very least. The only problem with Reva is she just never tends to do anything well. She tries to kill the Grand Inquisitor, but he comes back to life. She tries to fight Vader, but is embarrassingly dealt with, and she tries to kill Luke, but is stopped by moisture farmers. She still obviously has some skills here and there, like parkouring over those rooftops on that one city planet. With a power level of 5, we have the 10th brother, who used to be a Jedi called Proset Dibs, and actually tried to kill Mace Windu, leading to him being sentenced to rehabilitation after his Jedi trials. He did this because of how the Clone Wars was dismissing the Jedi doctrine, leading to him assaulting Windu in lightsaber combat. This later turned Inquisitor had no eyes as he was Miru Locken, and also had long white hair which complemented his Imperial armor. The 10th brother was shot down by his own Purge troopers after a mind trick from the Padawan Farron Barr. So he was most likely pretty strong as a former Jedi, but also perished due to the same Purge troopers that the 6th brother and 9th sister managed to escape from, since he was surprised in the moment. Although I do suppose that is somewhat of an honest mistake, as Ki-Adi-Mundi died kind of the same way, but I'm sure he was a lot more powerful than this guy. For the power level of 6 out of 10, I have a couple different Inquisitors. One is the 5th brother, who is one of the most prominently shown guys in many comics, as well as Rebels and Obi-Wan Kenobi, but he also had some pretty cool facts about him. The 5th brother was of an Atremisium species and had grayish green skin, and also used an unrelenting aggressive lightsaber form that was made up of overhead slashes and heavy strikes to behead or bisect an enemy. He died on Malachor in 3 BBY at the blade of Maul, who knocked his saber to the ground, and this on top of the relative incompetence towards capturing and or killing.
Wait, go back. Did you say Andor?
But yeah, he was pretty bad at that and also died quite easily to Maul without putting up much of a fight. Also, the 6th brother I have at, funny enough, the 6th power level, who not only had a cool armor design, but also died in a fight with Ahsoka where she made his hilt unstable, which exploded in his face. I put him higher than the guy from Tales of the Jedi, however, because even though in this fight Ahsoka had no lightsabers, meaning the 6th brother had a slight advantage, at least he had a fight in the first place. I'm looking at you, Tales of the Jedi. Since we have 4 different people for level 7, I'll just go through these rapid fire. The 7th sister had about the same luck as the 5th brother when it comes to finding Ezra and them, but seemed to at least be better at capturing him, which is why she's higher. She also died to Maul in Rebels. Next up is the 9th sister from Jedi Fallen Order games, and she was pretty tough as we can see and can provide a good fight from her size and strength, but she also, spoilers for Jedi Survivor, failed twice to kill a Padawan and then younger inexperienced Jedi, and as a consequence hit the sack herself. Twice, I might add. And yeah, that actually did really catch me by surprise in Jedi Survivor because I really thought she was dead, but you know how Star Wars is half the time.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Also, we have a couple of Inquisitors, literally, as in a love type of couple, known as Talon Yaluna, and also Iskat Akaris, or the 13th sister, and the one managed to knock down Darth Vader while the other captured Eth Koth's baby, so that's pretty significant compared to most of the other failures that are the Inquisitorius. But yeah, these are both some, I guess it still is canon, I was about to say legends, because all the Inquisitors are canon, since they're so new and in the Disney era for the most part. But these two were just in the comics and they were still pretty powerful. I believe the Akaris 13th sister, I believe she had her book as well, but there's that. For our last few ratings, I only have one for each, and I mean, what did you expect for the Inquisitorius? Did you really think there was going to be a bunch of high ones? Yeah, that's not the case. But starting with 8, I put the 2nd sister, originally known as Trilla Sunduri, that is the main antagonist of Jedi Fallen Order, and actually proves to be a huge threat to Cal, managing to beat him basically every time they meet in the game, and would have admittedly required lots of skill and power to impress Vader enough to appoint her to the 2nd sister. I'm not exactly sure if that's how it works. I kind of assume the higher up the number, the more powerful they are, but as we see with Reva, that might not entirely be the case. She died after her 3rd duel with Cal, being defeated barely, and then made up with her master Seer, but Darth Vader came in from behind and executed the Jedi Hunter swiftly with the stroke of a blade. At power level 9, I have the Inquisitor seen in the new Ahsoka trailer, who's been given the name of Marok, and in the trailer clearly fights against Ahsoka at 2 different locations, once at a spot with some sort of droid, and the other in a cold forest on some planet. This means that unlike the 2 Inquisitors mentioned before, with a PL of 1 and a PL of 6, this guy not only managed to successfully face off against Ahsoka with a genuine duel, not once, but twice. Also, since he is alive 5 years after Endor, that means that this guy has been around for a while and survived through a lot, perhaps even the last Inquisitor alive, as our boys at the Stupendous Wave have pointed out. There are some speculations that boil down to Theory 1, he's the 8th brother back from Revenge due to his similar helmet design, but this can't be true when we take a look at his hands and feet, which are clearly human. Theory 2, he's related to one of Imbo's dogs known as Marok, and yeah, I'll let you decide on that one. I don't think this Inquisitor is just a dog in a suit, but we'll see. And then Theory 3, we're finally getting Starkiller brought back into the story since Galen Merrick matches up with his name, and also Dave really enjoys that character, as don't we all. But the moment you've all been waiting for with our top spot, our top Inquisitor, we have the Grand Inquisitor, who probably gets his feel of signature superiority from actor Jason Isaacs, who did a great job, but also this really is the only one that ever feels like a true threat to the characters, getting very close many times to dealing with Kanan and Ezra, which makes sense as Grand Inquisitor, but he also just has a way of feeling like the real deal and not some joke, which probably is contributed from the way he uses his lightsaber like a single blade instead of a always wannabe Darth Maul helicopter type buddy that just sucks. So yeah, Grand Inquisitor is obviously going to take the top spot here, and there was also a bunch of characters from Star Wars Visions that I could have included here, like the one from the Latin studio, but I just didn't think I would have had time in this video. But anyway, that's it for this video. You can subscribe if you want to. I upload every Friday and sometimes on Sunday too at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I also post shorts on Saturday, but yeah, see you.